Okay. Okay. So, wir sind ja immer noch auf der Suche nach der Person, die Drogen schmuggelt. Anscheinend hat die Union was damit zu tun. Gucken, fragen wir die mal, ob die was wissen, ob die was rausrücken überhaupt.
Looks like the circus left town, but...
Nope. Der hat nix. Die neue.
I've got nothing to say to
Nope.
you.
Okay. Lena, hast du irgendwie was Neues?
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again.
Mehr Cryptids. Ja, wenn Kim mich lässt. You know, tab with it. Let's have more cryptids. Yes! Guter Kim. Of course, officers. She smiles politely. Is there a particular cryptid you two are interested in learning about? What's the biggest cryptid? That would be the giant of Kokonur, she says, if it's common knowledge. The giant lives in the most arid parts of the vast Kokonur desert in South Samara, casting a strange light across the barren wastes. Where what do you mean odd light? A mirage or a psychogenius luminescence? She does not elaborate the nature of this luminescence further. And just how big is it? No one knows for sure. It is like an awful mountain appearing from below the horizon and expanding to cover almost a third of your field of vision. Okay. Is it dangerous? The towering luminosity of Kokonur is a bad omen in local folklore. Some say it's a fata morgana, others are fate unimaginable. Oui, the lieutenant interjects. No animal can be that large, it's a mirage. That's what makes it so peculiar, a species surviving at the very limits of scientific law. The giant of Kokonur must be the largest animal the planet can support. These are limits, you see, to how large a metabolism and an ecosystem can beget. Some say a gravity anomaly below the Kokonur desert might allow the creature to grow to these gargantuan sizes. Great, this is great shit, you need more. What's the tiniest cryptid? Cryobacter catlensis. She answers immediately. Cryobacter catlensis? Yes, unicellular bacterium that was discovered in one of the northernmost points of Cutler on the Boreal Plateau by renowned geologist Kathleen Mijanou some 70 years ago. What's so special about it? The bacterial colony Mijanou found had remained alive while frozen in ice for longer than anyone could reliably estimate, certainly from before recorded history. Mijanou disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she had brought back to study, no doubt in hopes of prolonging her own life. Why she injected herself with it? Yes, the bacteria had survived in the ice since time immemorial. It is not hard to see where she could have gotten the idea. It's actually a little hard to see. He looks at her skeptically, but do go on. You mean there's an immortal geologist wandering the world? Yes, and she's quite mad too. After she treated herself with the bacteria, she stopped aging, but also became increasingly eccentric and irascible, so that even her oldest friends were forced to pull away. We can assume that she has been living somewhere in the wilderness for decades now, all alone except for the cryobacter lenses coursing through her bloodstream. What's the most dangerous cryptid? The gnome of Jeroma. She pauses for effect. The gnome of Jeroma? That sounds terrifying. Oh yes. None of its victims survived. Grieving relatives never even found their bodies because the gnome's venom dissolved organic tissue. What did this cryptic look like? It was reportedly a small creature with webbed fingers and a protruding forehead. An ungainly little thing. Quite scary to look at. A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. They heard an odd wailing in the woods and followed the sound. They were scared and wrapped it in tarpaulin to suffocate it. She looks at you, her voice grave suddenly. It still took the gnome of Jeroma an entire day to die. If the body of the creature was found, the lieutenant can't help himself. Why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in science textbooks, confirming the existence of this very lethal species? Ellis, the first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse, put it in a jar of formaldehyde, thinking that would detoxify the gnome's venom. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding liquid, dissolving the creature itself. A poetic end, perhaps, but a real loss for science, she says mostly to herself. Man, I just can't get enough of these cryptids. She grins. I'm glad you like them, but I'm not really one to tell you all about all of them. You should ask my husband if you get the chance. He's the real expert. Okay. Okay, die wollen nix labern. Gehen wir mal kurz zurück zu der Frau. Vielleicht reicht der die Info, die wir bisher so gesammelt haben.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Spoke with the lorry man at the roundabout. Word has traveled, yes, but nothing of real substance has surfaced yet, I gather. She smiles, then explains. White pines his eyes on the intersection, but not ears. It appears we're being monitored every step we take, colleague. The lieutenant shrugs. Did we have any other business here? Mehr nicht. We've cleared the lynching question. So you know something about the tattoos? Better not to tie the force stay to the backstory on this. I hope there's something else I can help you with. She wants to answer the question. Lynching, okay. Strike. Drug trafficking. Boat. Nah. Old pines. Something else. But my missing badge again. I'm afraid I can't say anymore until we've taken care of formal protocol. What kind of arrangement would it be? I mean, favors for favors, a dirty alliance of some sort. Gonna find it somehow. Should grab some but before we do, officers, let me be perfectly clear. Situation is extremely volatile. The sooner we can speak about this lynching business, the better for all of us. Okay, also entweder so finde ich endlich mal meine Dienstmarke oder bekomme irgendwie eine andere Dienstmarke. Oder ich finde irgendwie Infos über Drogenzeug. Please connect me to Sylvie again. Sylvie Malika on the line for you, officer. Yes, hello. You recognize her voice. Hey Sylvie, it's the police again. Oh, great. Bye. Schon die Waffe zurück? Ich glaube nicht. Nee, haben wir nicht.
Still here, stuck in this damn jam, my man. What's up?
I heard that one of the drivers is a woman, but I don't think she's here. Do you know this lady driver? He shifts around, suddenly uncomfortable, then looks away. I don't want to talk about that. I don't mean to pry, but I need your help. She may be involved with the drug business. Man, I was hoping it isn't gonna be her. He bites his lip. All I can say is, she's not around here anymore. She isn't some evil drug trafficker. And I don't know where she is. I asked you who's conducting the drug trade. You said you didn't know. Now you're saying you do? I didn't, man. I told you I was hoping it's not her. That she wouldn't be mixed up in it. He still is hoping. It's just wishful thinking on his part, not trickery. Who is this person? What's her name? Thank God I don't know. People here call her the lady driver. She kept her name a secret. From me too. Now I see why. Who is she to you? A friend? An acquaintance? I don't know. She was the only person in this damn jam I could talk to. She's someone I don't want to rat out to the law, okay? What does she look like? A youngish woman, gruff, but in a cool way. Oh, what color hair? Blue and violet, dyed. He answers reluctantly. It was violet when she got here, but blue before she went. Why did she leave? Damn, I don't wanna... He looks her straight in the eye. Please just let it go. Whatever she did, it can't be that bad. She's not a bad person, I know that much. We can't just let it go. It's part of a police investigation. That's how it always is with you, isn't it? All part of the investigation. He shakes his head. Girl's troubled. If you hunt her down, she may not survive it. I can't have that on my conscience. It won't come to that. We won't pursue her on this. This is information only. I don't believe you. You said she's troubled. How? She's got the darkness in her. That young person's darkness when you think it's all over. And you're looking for a way out. She shared this with you? Yes, which is why I don't want to snitch on her. I was told everyone's afraid of her. You're not? I heard the rumors. I saw the other drivers looking at me strange when we talked. And she told me too, that she's had a violent life. But I wasn't afraid of her, more like for her. Did this violent life include drug trafficking? Well, he says, it looks like it did now, but we didn't talk about that. We talked about life, you know. She talked about her mind. Hold on. Her mind? The way it worked, the trouble it was giving her. When she left, did she leave her lorry behind? Fuck, man. Go grill someone else with these questions, okay? There are plenty of drivers here who couldn't stand her, or were afraid of her. They'd be more than happy to rat her out. He's right, there are other options, the raceman for one. Push Tommy, and it will break his heart and his spirit. Don't expect you to be pals. Fine, I will drop the matter for now. Okay, probieren wir erstmal die anderen.
Looking for something, Rund? Huh? Coming to tell me to fuck off again?
I know you've been giving me the run around. Fess up, where's the lady driver? I don't know what you're talking about. Just tell me which one's a lorry. Listen up, fuckwits. You don't scare me. You cops don't run Revachol West. You don't run Martinez. You don't run anything. Actually, we do. No. The lieutenant turns to the lorryman. He means La Puta Madre. The name resounds like a bell in the air, a dark gong. You get a bad feeling about it. Looks like the lieutenant has a plan. Let him do this. Okay. For a moment, lorryman is silent. Then he spits on the pavement. Yeah, him. Cross your arms and nod. Then I presume you're familiar with his peons? Peones? Yeah. Says unsure where this is leading. There's little bitches. He's got them all over the Union. Not just the unions. He has peones everywhere. Some say he even has them in the RCM. He gets closer to him. Dirty fucking peones who would do anything for him. Multi-ethnic drug addicts. You're not peones, he says. You wouldn't be investigating a drug thing if you were. No, of course not. We are not peones. But if we were, and one of Madre's drivers were to be stealing from him, then it's a good peon's job to find out who that is. It's not a hard job. It won't take a long time. It won't make Padre Madre angry. looks at him. But the stupid fucking racist is standing in the way protecting his fucking thief. His eyes dart between you and the lieutenant. I'm not scared of you or the mob. I'm under the protection of the lorryman and Carter's guild. You've seen that cops in the ceramic armor there. Lieutenant points to the yard. Did his shit little guild protect him? Nah. You wouldn't just leave him out there for you, if you... Tries to light a fresh cigarette, but his hands are shaking now. The sentence simply ends. Lieutenant turns and gives you a barely perceptible nod. I've softened him up as best I could. Now it's on you to finish the job. Be careful, this man's still got some fight in him. By the looks of it, it won't be easy to break him. Make him tell. Fuck! Why don't you... The main thing is to not overdo it. Even when you're trying to scare someone, the most important thing is how does it look on your resume? Why don't you and me step outside for a little talk? What? Lorryman erupts in contemptuous laughter. What do you think we're doing right now? Runt? We're outside talking. Damn it, I meant... Do you want to find someplace private to... No. Shit! This is some kind of homo thing. Yeah, maybe it is. Okay, that's enough, detective. That's enough. Let's just go and ask Tommy, alright? We're wasting our time here. Or you could look around, find this guy's cabin, check all the lorries. It's scary when cops are snooping in your things, no? Okay. Oh. Geld. Dup-dup-du. Lorry stuck in a traffic jam. This big heavy garden-made machine is well kept for such an old machine. Look in the window. Windows are clear, they've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings, stickers, insignia. What kind of stickers and insignia? The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor, strength, and purity are glued to various panels. Large metal pendant hangs from the rear view mirror. The pendant features a sun crowned with wavy rays. What about backseat? Back end of the cabin has a small perch to sleep. Large ashtrays. There are several suns and wheels sewn into the curtains. Racist and nationalist paraphernalia. He grits his teeth. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy. The lieutenant nods toward the racist lorry driver. You think this lorry belongs to our tough guy? Likely, yes. This guy is proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine. There he is, in front of Fred, smoking nervously, hoping it's over. Hat das was gebracht jetzt?
Looking for something, und? Huh? Coming to tell me to fuck off again?
So he's snooping. Oh. Fuck! Okay. Done.
Still here, stuck in this damn jam, my man.
Sorry,
What's up?
Tommy. She's a suspect and I need you to tell me where she is, so I can't finish the investigation. I thought you were a different kind of cop. Something breaks in him as he stares into your eyes. The realization that you've used his friendliness and goodwill for your own ends. Where is the lady driver? Here. He takes a keyring from his pocket, then looks at it before giving it to you in silence. Keys to a motor lorry, pretty complex, looks like a chain lock. Then he gives them to you. Her lorry is still here, down, past the statue of Philippe. Waves toward the monument. The cabin is green, you can get in there with these. That's all I know. When did she leave? Last Friday. He blinks, his eyes half empty now. I'm sorry I had to do this. I bet you are. And he's sorry he couldn't be what he wants to be, a good person. His last line is a revenge on the world. Anything else, like where she's now? No, I don't know. And why did you have the keys? She left them to me, because she trusted me. So I can get it out of the way when the jam breaks loose, otherwise... He doesn't finish the sentence. Thank you for your cooperation, sir. I know it was hard, but you did the right thing. You don't really think so. I really do. If I didn't, I wouldn't be in the RCM. Take care, sir. Schade, dass ich... Ja, schade. Ich hätte lieber den hier irgendwie zum gekackt. So, wieder da. Screen, fallen AC, contemporary is parked in the shadow of the ruins looming overhead. It's seen better days. This is the one our man pointed to. Tenant peeks inside. Peek in the window. The glass on the side windows is tinted and covered with dust. You can barely make out the shape of a seat and two steering levers. Feels like you're peeking into someone's home residence. Inside it's private, cozy, warm. Dusty too. Unlock the door. Hey. You push the key into the lock and turn. It makes a cracking sound. Then the door pops back a few centimeters. You can just open it. Smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals. Admired posters. These are movie posters featuring starlets from long forgotten films. From the 20s, the teens, even the 90s of the last century. One of them particularly catches your eye, a centerfold of an ingenue or so, attached right above the back seat. There's definitely perfume in the air. It's spicy, with a hint of ambrette wafting through the bitter air of the cabin. What's that smell? Remnants of a sweet juniper-scented perfume. Probably Garant number 5. Study the centerfold. The actress is draped in a sheath dress, one of her shoulders bared. The faded remains of an autograph run across the poster. She's looking past the camera. A feeling of tenderness washes over you. A longing even, perhaps. And gentle tragedy. Wait, doesn't she resemble someone you know? But you can't put a finger on whom exactly. Enough of the poster. The actresses and the rare actor all smile you a warm goodbye. A radio transmitter attached, dashboard, toolbox, blah blah blah. Toolbox. Metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's empty except for a folded newspaper. Unfold. It's an issue of Peripherique from last Wednesday. A piece of paper falls out from its pages. Pick up. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of something called the Ulan frequency system. Lieutenant leans over your shoulder to examine the note. The Ulan frequency system. I've never heard of that one. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but his thought trails off. Examine the radio. Looks like the frequency dialed is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed, likely by the missing lady driver. Kim leans closer to the radio and hums. Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least. Why would anyone need so many radio stations? For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. Flicks a switch on the radio. This is all shortwave. UW and UKV. Looks like we're dealing with an impressive organizational tool. The nerve center of a huge operation, with quite the range too. A 20-kilometer radius at least, perhaps extended by an attachable antenna that's not here right now. Is there anything we can do with the radio? Doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable without the dial key. What about the speedfreaks.fm? Is it one of the saved stations here? No, that's on 78.9. He stops coughing awkwardly. Raise your eyebrows. What? I happen to have committed the frequency to memory. I have no problem admitting that. What else is here? Check the pedals. You wedged yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here. A hammer, a pair of pliers, a rusty wrench. Have been casually thrown there by the disorganized driver. But one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle. Why would anyone glue a piece of sandpaper to the gas pedal? Sandpaper? Lieutenant repeats. A novel technique. Must be to offer some extra grip to the driver's foot. The sandpaper would also rub off the pattern from the driver's right boot sole. Yes. He likes where this is going. Do the honors, he thinks. Connect it yourself. One of the footprints at the crime scene had an aberration. One sole was smoother than the other. Which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching. The lieutenant's eyes light up behind his prescription lens. First the drug smuggling, now this. How deep does this rabbit hole go? Now we know for certain who's the missing 8th person at the lynching. Do you think that Hardy has his boys, that Hardy and his boys could be also involved in the in the drug operation? I think the entire union is involved, maybe even entire Martinez. Look around suspiciously. We should talk with Titus, see what he's got to say on the matter. He wrote something down into his little notebook. Are we finished with the lorry? Yep. Great, I think we got everything. A word detective steps away from the lorry before we return to Joyce. Okay, Kim. Was gibt's?
All right, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company rep.
Seems like something police would do. What do you think of all this, Kim? Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to rather extensive and well-organized operation. I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect. Looks like this alleged drug trade casts a wide net. I'm not sure what the ULAN frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks. And last but not least, it looks like the Hardy Boys knew this driver, as we know that she was present at the lynching. This may be the Union connection we've been searching for. The probe and the case converged, he thinks. This was quite the find. What about the movie posters? How do they factor into all this? As elegant as they are, I don't think they are relevant to the drug trade. Don't be fooled, desire always plays a role. A lot of women there, especially for lady driver's cabin. Yes, well, it doesn't say more. Unimportant? So it turns out this is connected to the Union. Like Joyce told us, yes, logistically. But don't expect to bust this open during our stay here. At best, this is an angle we can use against them, to other ends, as extra ammunition. Meaning someone as slippery as Everard won't be caught by a couple of cops and some stuff they found in some cabin. Will the RCM open an investigation into this? We should return to the murder case, see what Joyce tells us about the lynching when we're done for the day. I'll call my station and suggest our narcotics department look into it. There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation sometime later when we're done here. We do not want to get caught in that. He stops to think. What are you thinking? The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean, especially if the Madre grouping is involved, and I can't imagine they aren't. It's certainly worrisome. Corruption? You know, it's all the same. I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either. Okay, debrief over? Debrief over. After you. Okay.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Ja. Drug Trafficking. Oder auch nicht. No. Level up. Nice. Unlock. Okay. Yes, my eyes on the arbor have sent word. What have you discovered? Where exactly are these eyes located? It doesn't really matter. I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this. In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation. She's trying to conceal her excitement, but the slight glimmer in her green eyes tells you otherwise. The lieutenant is about to interject. Cut him off. This decision should be yours. Wirklich? Okay. I should have said. But what? Hold on. You seem anxious to know. Why is that? I've kept my eye on the communers. Even tried to get to know one. It's a mystery. I'm already invested in. Which one of them, if any, could organize such a complex operation? We turned up quite a few interesting things, actually. Good to hear. I wouldn't want to pry into a confidential police matter, but in the event you'd like to share more, I would like to know who it was. Lieutenant clears his throat audibly. Be very careful what information you're gonna share with her. It's a she, by the way. Clever. If you suspect a woman in this sort of skullduggery, good move on their part. It seems the architect of the operation has gone missing. An abandoned lorry is near the statue. A runaway. Good work. There's a tangible lead towards solving the whole mystery. She's a fan of vintage movie stars. The inside of the cab was plastered with posters. We contain multitudes, do we not? It might not be pertinent to her profession, but who knows? It may help you find her yet. She means you know her closer now. In some way you know her soul a bit. I saw a really advanced radio system with a lot of stations saved. Speaks of the vastness of sophistication of the operation. Were you able to examine the radio? It didn't have Speed Freaks FM. What is Speed Freaks FM? She looks at you quizzically. It's Lieutenant Kitsuragi's favorite radio station. Lieutenant's stone-like face remains impassive, yet in his eyes a flash of reproach. I fail to see the relevance of the station, but she smiles warmly. I'll defer to your judgment. Was there anything else? Unfortunately, the dial knob was missing. The radio itself was inoperative. She's not sensible for her to disable access to such essential information. It was the nerve center for the operation. She could contact the whole fleet of lorries. taking it out of a commission will deal a blow of the smuggling to the smuggling network. Excellent work. Okay. I've told you what I found, now it's your turn. I appreciate you placing your trust in me. Thank you again for looking into this matter. You have my gratitude and the gratitude of Wild Pines Group. Now, per our original agreement, it's time for me to share company secrets with you. There's a change in her demeanor. Caution comes over her. Attention. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands. You said container situation? Yes, I'm afraid the strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Revachol West. Since you're sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario. Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be. Tell me again, how are the lynching and the strike connected? I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail. Momentary lapse of faith? They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer. Every worker. A member of the board, she nods. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor. Blah blah blah. Do you need a security detail? Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering. Who are they exactly? Cranel, an Orangier's military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment. So what happened? The story is one of them, the colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him, who was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night. What then? Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbor. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Cranel contractors carry out their orders. For now. For now? It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow. What is the nature of this so-called investigation? Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants. I have to say, this is not disco. It is very far from disco. A wave crashes against the side of a boat. My only hope is that you provide a single concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, she grabs hold of the mainsail. If you don't pin this on someone good, and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond. They would have to project strength and power. The debardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1. Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? She leans back. It's not pretty. These men work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons. Even yours. Most union workers don't have guns at all. The muzzle-loaders need to be reloaded after every 1 or 2 shots. The automatics every 1 or 2 minutes. She's silent for a moment, then concludes, as I said, a bloodbath. See, Kim, this is that great bloodletting I've been telling you about. It appears you found it, yes, and I'm not happy for you. Isn't this a pretty bleak scenario you're describing? Many bleak scenarios have already come true. She looks at you, eyes damp from the wind. Nameless, badgeless detective of the citizens' militia. All we can do is keep the rest from growing the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse the situation. Huh, okay. What can you tell me about Cranel? Not much. The public resume is relatively good. As far as private military contractors go, I believe they were once called Downwell. Down a deep black well. They boast a long list of clients: Saint-Baptiste, Welchman, Lawrence, Indruct. Warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in 3rd or 4th world countries, guarding facilities, escort missions and such. Meaning they're used to operating in war zones. Yes, all the good conflict corridors. Supramundi, Jesut, the Seminoles Islands. Countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil. Okay, anything else you call on them? Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources. She thinks. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time though, she thinks. Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, ma'am? In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think it would be dealing with a group like Cranel. Could you contact the company, tell them to call them off? I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us. You said the deceased assaulted a woman? Or he didn't. She tilts her head. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it. Who did the passing on them? The remaining contractors, their tribunal, that's what they believe. What did these teenagers by the canal say? That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story about Martinez. Around. The lieutenant consults his notebook, his eyebrows knitted in concentration. But we haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Was? Doch, haben wir. Das hat doch die Union vor, was weiß ich, wann mal gesagt. Dass der Typ sich an eine Frau angemacht hat und die den deswegen, ja, bisschen kaputt gemacht haben. Where did it take place and when? Last Sunday night at the wedding in Rex, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him. And who was this woman? That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor about a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe. You'll meet her soon enough, you feel. Is Colonel the one who was hanged? Did you know him? If you mean, did I see him alive? Yes, but I did not know him. You don't know how you know, it's not written on her face, nor in her voice, but she had sympathy for this man. You liked him. Liked is a bit strong. She tosses her head. He was the most charismatic among them. He handled all the talking. His departure left a major gap in the group's communication skills. His name was Lely. His service name, nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name, only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was. Tell me about the others first. One is a man, Corti, they call him. Nickname as well. The other a woman, Phyllis the Paul. Corti is the gunner, I believe. The Paul is a radio operator. Lieutenant Cutson, what would you say was his eye color? The deceased's. She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head. I can't remember. There's a pang of regret to her voice. That's alright, ma'am. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age? He was 40 or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age or gauge his facial expressions. What else? Nationality, accent? He was Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, mixed accent. Orayes or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it. Through the injury. She nods. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once. Where are the remaining two mercs now? They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. She puts her foot on the guard wire for balance. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes, ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting. Vigilantes? You're a professional officer of the only legitimate authority in Revachol. Vigilantes, the RCM gets its authority from the coalition. Where does theirs come from? Somehow I doubt that lecturing them on the legitimate use of force will persuade them to stand down. We still need to know where they are. You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, it'll be a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved. 58% und ein paar Plus. Ja, könnt. Healed. Nice. Damaged. Fuck. Check für der. Oh, kritischer verkackt. This is so embarrassing, you have no idea. There's something wrong with your brain. Luckily, the lieutenant still has his. Ma'am, with all due respect, I've been around Martinez and there's a giant hulk of a man in ill-fitting clothes at the harbor gates. Mr. Right to Work. His heart really isn't in it. Not a terribly good actor, that one, still. And the other one, the Paul, must be in one of the 40-story buildings overlooking the roundabout. She was reporting back to you while we were canvassing the lorry drivers. That would afford a good vantage point. She nods, poised and unperturbed. Still, I hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest. How much time do we have? Until the execution starts? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob and their impatience. They don't report their progress to you? Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative. There's a brief silence. Seagulls squawk over the bay. 5 days, not more, maybe sooner. It's a matter of days, not weeks. That's enough for now. Now can you tell me about these tattoos? Of course. Excuse my hesitation before. She reaches over the guard wire and takes a photo. Holds it in her hand for about half a minute in silence. It is taken with a trigger not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs. Observe the woman's expression. Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo surface. She has no excess of emotions for this cadaver. Has she seen dead bodies before? It's likely. What do you think? Sorry, she breaks the concentration. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points, the stars. She points to one of the one on the photo paper. I can't, but that's how you read the story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body and distance from each other tells you what they represent. Starke Kopfschmerzen. Ey. Nicht schön. Aber, ja. Verständlich, ja. Ruhig gut aus. Like stars in the sky. Close, she nods. Port cities. There's an Oranier's map of the waterways. Sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the DeLorean century, 300 years ago. Sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels. What is the use of this map? The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by the silver cord, they would call it. Where is he now? I've spoken to him. For now the soul is fastened inside his corpse. She remains unfazed. That is precisely what the sailors feared when they drew these maps. A fear of drowning within one's own corpse. What travels did the dead man make? Quite a few. Redford, the Oranier's capital. Traditional stands on the right shoulder. She points to it on the photo. He started somewhere near here, I think. What next? Then he made his way to the Preto Grande through what I think must be Staatskanal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Preto he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Seminoles Islands, then this. She points to his heart. What is that? Revachol, she says. Those are the two constants, Redford on the shoulder and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinda at the dawn of the intersolary age. You said you can't read. I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning. Somewhere in an office lit by a single green desk lamp, Captain Ptolemaeus Price, 58, bald and bespectacled, is writing in a ledger on his desk, rows and rows of days and weeks, laconic remarks in a single column, patrol case, vacation injured. In Martinez, looking into Cranel, he writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and rubs his temples with both hands. Outside there's a siren, distant gunshots on the street of the Jamrock Quarter. This man is no bother of mine, but this is his service history. That makes sense to me. We have no more use for a map of the waterways, just like we don't need sailors the way we used to. This is what the custom would morph into on the Occident. Mercenary tattoos. Who could tell me more? His platoon members? The other contractors, though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade. It could go this or the other way. Maybe if you're tactful, it could be beneficial. I need the information. Do what you have to do, detective. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security. But if you should wade into the mob to find out, I couldn't stop you. Nice. We will be careful, ma'am. That's all for the tattooist. Thank you for your help. Okay. Tremble. The time is now. What time? The time for the show. For... Keine Ahnung. Opa. The hallowed time for fear and disintegration. A countdown has begun. All will collapse on itself. The world will disappear into a single grain of blackness. All sound will be muted. All life will scream. What's that? What? Wait, what? When did this countdown begin? Monday morning, the moment you arrived in this reality, you are the first crack in the sheer face of God. From you it will spread. This is because of the insane world ending I've been saying, isn't it? Yes, you spoke the words of the... and the houses of Pericarnassus. Items, people, even words will tumble. All will lose its meaning in the coming years. That is why you marked yourself. I'm sure it's not just a joke or some kind of coping mechanism. It's totally also a coping mechanism. I'm a little afraid. So you should be. The world island crumbles at your feet and in the far plain. Perhaps just a thought, this has something to do with the hangover. I do think the world might end soon. The face of the woman fractures. There will be hurt killing. We all become vapor. Caldo mama dakwa. It's not only your eardrums that register sound anymore. Your very skin has become an organ of hearing. Looking for a whisper light and low, a god who's very, very silent. Nothing escapes you. A cockroach in the other room, a candy wrapper falling on dry grass, a drunk falling from a chair in a bar 20 meters away. In fact, you haven't heard the Caldo Mamakdakwa, but you have discovered that you have amazing hearing. It must be the only part of you the alcohol hasn't drowned out. Keep listening. +3 perception, nice. No room for anything else. Okay. Bonuses from thoughts. Was haben wir dann? -2 Logik, -2 Enzyklopädie, -3 Visual Calculus, +2 Volition und +3 Perception. Okay. Was haben wir hier? Hier, Cop of the Apocalypse. Den will ich auf jeden Fall. Was haben wir? Motorway south, at the edge of the map, landmass begins to disintegrate, pure trigonometry, ocean melt, green rain, shadow dithers, like the end half remembered textbook from my childhood, the porch collapsing on the edge of the ice, solar transition from reality to pale, single vector shoots out like a rocket. Motorway south, splintering off from the known pale to where? Where does it go? Was das? Socioeconomics. Kommunismus. Ja, Kommunismus, das lassen wir. Machen wir das weg. Apokalypsenkopf. Gut. Okay. Ja, ein bisschen was. Ein bisschen hat sich ja jetzt die Story verzweigt in allem. Oder so, zumindest die beiden Sachen. Drogen und Dings. Mord. Und anscheinend haben wir sogar einen festen Punkt, wo das Spiel mehr oder weniger dann zu Ende ist. Nämlich 5 Tage. Ich weiß jetzt nicht, ob die meinen 5 Tage jetzt ab dem Zeitpunkt oder 5 Tage seitdem das Spiel angefangen hat. Aber ja. Anscheinend ist ja. Müssen wir gucken, dass wir das Zeug innerhalb der nächsten paar Tage lösen. Mal schauen.